Okie dokie. Ape, ape, ape. Okay. And everything that can go wrong will go wrong. I'm having some strange tech issues, so I'm going to run an audio check here real quick.
But look, we're dealing with a lot of weird people on the internet here.
Yeah, something is not right here. Okay. Well, while I try to fix this, hmm, is it? Well, it looks like you can hear me. Hello, welcome. Um, Not sure if Richard's going to be stopping by or not. We had confirmed last night, but I did not get a response by email. And I saw Wild Heart work on this tech issue, and so far, I don't know what the hell's going on. Um, I was going to try something a little different as far as um, on my end tonight, and it did not work out. So, and now I'm doing the usual thing, and for some reason, that's not working either. Strange, strange stuff. I think the stream is cursed. They didn't like the clickbait title. Was Jesus an incel? Hmm. I don't know. I've actually got an argument for it. I will wait a few minutes while I fix this. If Richard shows up, cool. Wild comes back, cool. If not, I'll just make my own argument and talk a little bit, and people can respond to it if they so choose. That's kind of where I'm at right now. So, hey, what's up, Kentucky Atheist? Good to see you. One of my new late night streams. I'm doing these from a remote location in the San Francisco Bay Area, California, USA. And I hope everyone is having a wonderful day so far, wherever you are in the world. All right, let me try another audio check here and see if I can get this right on my end at least.
But look, we're dealing with a lot of weird people on the internet here.
No, something is way off. Way off tonight. All right, so let me try a different tactic. Sorry about that. It's always something. Can't ever be nothing. That'll probably be helpful if I do this. Yeah, this is not a problem I usually encounter. My Bluetooth is not syncing up with StreamYard at all on my phone. If you have the laptop set up, I thought I was doing something ingenious, but not working out that way. So let's make sure it's working over here.
But look, we're dealing with a lot of weird people on the internet here.
So true. So true. Okay, well, I guess if this is as good as it gets, we'll just roll with it. If I have any brief interruptions, I apologize. It does happen out here. So I may open the panel up if anybody's wanting to discuss or smells what I'm stepping in. I was really hoping to pick Richard's brain on this and maybe get a Christian in the room. Math Pig, good morning. Long time no see. Good to see you, man. Horrible cracking. Oh, yeah, I just had to switch devices. I know something really strange was going on over there. No, Richard has not shown up, so we may have to reschedule. Or, as I said, if he just wants to respond to whatever I put down here, that's cool. I'll see. Maybe we can find a video about it too, but I did pull up this. So we'll start with the argument before I pull this up. So it is my understanding, essentially that the prevalent Christian belief, the belief amongst Christians, is that Jesus never married, never had children, never had sexual relations with a woman, because if he was never married, that fornication, and Jesus must have died without sin. Isn't it though? His timing is awful. It was kind of a last minute thing though. Like we just arranged this less than a day ago, so I will not fault him for that. So if that is the case, right? Like my question here is, it seems to me that Jesus would qualify as what we call an INCEL, an involuntary celibate, right? Because Jesus had no choice in the matter. As the Son of God, Simon Hector, you're saying there's static? Voice is not grappling. I can try to eliminate the background noise here if that's an issue, but sometimes that makes the audio worse. So try that setting out. So if Jesus could only act as God willed him to act, he had no free will of his own, right? So that's not what we would call a voluntary. Oh, okay, math. Yeah, I'll be here for a little bit. That's not what we would call a voluntary act, right? It's not an act of one's own volition. Um, so that's the primary argument. I think I got it. I'm going around. Make sure that everything is okay here. And this has been out here for several years. I'll just add it now. You can go search this up. You just search up Jesus and Mary Magdalene. You will find all kinds of material here. So we'll read this. This is from 2018. Mary Magdalene, and they had children. If you know, you know. The Lost Gospel, the ancient manuscript that claims Jesus married Mary Magdalene and had children. We now know what the original Jesus movement looked like and the unexpected role sexuality played in it. And there's no text. Oh, still loading. Nice image here. That's what we're waiting for. Aw. We were about to read a detective story. We have uncovered an ancient writing that is encrypted with a hidden meaning.
In the process of decoding it, we'll take you on a journey into the world of this mysterious text. What the Vatican feared and Dan Brown only suspected has come true. There is now written evidence that Jesus was married to Mary the Magdalene, and they had children together. More than this, based on new evidence, we now know what the original Jesus movement looked like and the unexpected role sexuality played in it. We have even unraveled the politics behind the crucifixion, as well as the events and the people that took part in it. Gathering dust in the British Library is a document that takes us into the missing years of Jesus' life. Scholars believe that Jesus was born around 5 BC and that he was crucified around 30 AD. Nothing about Jesus from the time he was 8 days old, in circumcision according to Jewish law, until he was in his early 30s. There is one exception. According to the Gospel of Luke, when he was 12 years old, Jesus traveled with his parents to Jerusalem to celebrate Passover. That's it. That's all we have. Otherwise, 30 years of absolute silence. Isn't this incredible? Here is arguably the most influential individual in human history, and we know nothing about him until after he starts his ministry, i.e., his public activism, at most 3 years before his crucifixion. Right? Just, you know, um, I think Bill Maher made the joke, Jesus being an angry teenager, something like that. But the fact is that we simply have no information about Jesus' early years, his upbringing, friends, schooling, or his interaction with family members. We have no knowledge of Jesus as a young adult. How did he gain access to the writings of the Hebrew Bible? Did the synagogue in Nazareth, a very small hamlet at the time, have scrolls of the law and the prophets? Who were his religious teachers? How well versed was he in Hebrew, in addition to the Aramaic that we know he spoke? Did he speak Greek, the lingua franca of the Roman world? Jesus appears on the stage of history suddenly in the late 20s CE. At this point, the mature Jesus announces the kingdom of God. That is, the advent of a qualitative transformation in human history. Prophet on the earth and the worship of the one true God will be universal. According to the document that we uncovered, sometime during this period, he became got married, had sexual relations, and produced children. Before anyone, we are not attacking anyone's theology. We are reporting on their text. Theology must follow historical fact and not the other way around. Having said this, for the moment, we are not asserting that our text is historical fact. So far, we are merely stating that the Christian Bible tells us nothing about Jesus' early years, and that we have discovered a text that claims that he was married and fathered children. On a purely historical level, this really shouldn't surprise us. Marriage and children were expected of a Jewish man, then announced consternation to his family. Possible scandal in the community for no other reason than to explain and defend Jesus. Usually married and fathered children. Not only this, our document indicates that for some of his original followers, Jesus' marriage was the most important aspect of their theology. It says that's an extract. Um, yeah, because I thought the original article was 2016, and this one says 2018. And take the full text. Oh, no, no. Uh, uh, seen documentaries on this though, and I've actually heard speculation from people that claim that Jesus is may have traveled to. Oh, Lily, I'll see how I you. Good to see you. The guest to the hour. Uh, we'll see. So I find that interesting though, because it seems highly unlikely to me that, as the sex stated, that a would never have had sexual relations with a woman. Especially, I think there's arguably a text that says that he cohabitated with Mary Magdalene. I don't know if it necessarily says that he laid with her. Something we'd have to look up. All caught up, but that audio, dog. I don't. Everybody keeps telling me it's getting better. The stream. I got two. Wait. Right there, and MathPig said audio in and out. Kentucky Atheist said, can barely understand you. Simon said, like old school radio. Okay, so it was better before I changed the audio settings. Yeah, I was afraid that would happen. Murphy's Law here tonight. So, and presume that it was clearer this way, as I initially thought it would be. So, thank you. Thank you. Very good. So it's either one of two options. I mean, did Jesus fuck or not? For him to follow the commandments and die without sin, if he was going to fuck, he would have had to get married first, right? Stands to reason. We have a historical figure who fits the bill.
My stream because they don't like the thumbnail. Is that offensive? Just because you don't fuck doesn't make you an incel. It's people not wanting to fuck you that makes one an incel. Not necessarily the case. So you may have like a modern definition of what we mean by incel, and I've got something for that here, but I mean, incel stands for involuntary celibacy. If you are not choosing to be celibate, you are an incel. If you do not have so that's the point. It doesn't matter whether people are rejecting you or what the deal is there, right? Like, that's not the issue. Is it voluntary or is it not? Yeah, I don't know. I had a really solid internet connection. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe God's cursing the stream. I can't say. So here's another article from India Times on the same subject here. Just roll with the punches over here. Let's see. Is that how's that? I don't know. I can't hear anything. Okay, so this sounds better, but unfortunately may have. Well, this kind of limits some of our abilities. Also, rape exists, so one does not have to be. I assume you mean celibate there. Corporation cooperation is not needed. Choosing to be celibate doesn't make you one. Right. If you choose to be celibate, then it's voluntary. But my question is, did Jesus have a choice? Did Jesus have a choice, or was the will of God imposed on Jesus? Now you could say, I mean, Jesus was identical to God, which is kind of ridiculous because in the whole "Father, why have you forsaken me" bit, who is he talking to? He's just talking to himself. So that wouldn't make any sense for them to be an identical um, entity, right? Like, he wouldn't be talking to himself, or would he? I don't know. But I think it's far more likely that he did sleep with the Magdalene. He did have children and have offspring, if in fact he existed historically. Of course, we're granting that premise. He technically has a bride, so not incel. Yeah, no. The title here is a clickbait. You know, I wanted to dive more into what his life was like, who he's with. If he was married, why don't they talk about it in the Bible? It seems like it would be something that's important. Now I don't think they don't necessarily tell you every time someone in the Bible is married, right? Or they say, oh, so and so had a wife. Maybe fringe characters, they don't even mention their families or their backstories, right? That's all fine. But Jesus is the main character. You'd think that would make its way into the Bible. Stands to reason. I don't know. Unless it was intentionally omitted for some reason. And why would that be? Why would they omit the fact that Jesus had a wife and children? Uh, oh, this one's on Buddhism. So I was going to expand this just to religion more generally, and certain spiritual practices, um, and how this applies to like the Catholic Church, because the clergy, right, are expected to be celibate as well. Um, the apostles, as far as I remember, there's no um, mention, I think, of their families, or yeah, this is not something that's prevalent in the text. Were all these people just, I mean, you could say, and I've heard people say this, I'm not saying this, I've heard people say that, maybe Jesus and the apostles, maybe they were, doing some Brokeback Mountain stuff. I don't know. I mean, you're out there, wandering around, preaching the gospel, you know, 13 dudes, right? 13 dudes just hanging around together. They got one prostitute that traveled with them at one point, female, right? Mary. I mean, what are the odds? What are the odds that none of them ever had sex or procreated? It doesn't seem likely to me. Does not seem likely. Okay, so try to turn this ship back around. What we got here? Tog, if you want to come in, I don't know if you're available to, but absolutely love to discuss this with you. It seems like something that you've thought about as well. That's not the right one. I was so prepared for this stream that God had to go and just throw a brick in it for me. You see what God did to us, man? Oh, who do we have here? It's me. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot I'm my own guest. So I could share stream and stuff like that. So, got this back. I don't know, it's weird because I have a really solid Wi-Fi connection tonight. Everything was set up in advance, and uh-oh. Okay, that's fine. Tog is not available at the moment. Unfortunate. All right. I'm going to see if we can find anything on YouTube about this and probably throw a stream link out there. Just because I don't want to waste all this beautiful, beautiful you know, prep work I've done. So obviously, it's worked out so well for me. Abort, abort. No, we don't do that here. Not unless it's a human child. Then we can. No, sorry. Too far? It's 1:35 in the AM here. April 11th, 2024. I guess, maybe a belated April Fool's. It's 10 days overdue. And no, continually having problems with the Chromebook, even though, strange. It's real strange. Everything shows up normal on my end, but I can tell that it's not working normally. So disappointment, got to work with the tech we have. It was the gnomes. Yeah. I guess on a side note, just to see the full image I found. There's a whole spread of these if you haven't seen the Sexy Jesus calendar. Ah, it's gorgeous. Do you think that's what Jesus looked like? I mean, obviously, it's the what do they call that? Uh, Wham. If you know it, if you know, you know. If you don't, I'm not going to expose you to something that might traumatize you. it definitely traumatized me for a number of years. Okay. Any luck on this end? Yes, finally. Okay, so let's see if they got anything here for us. Yeah, I'm having a lovely morning. We had an accident here just north of the bridge a little over an hour and a half ago. Took a while to clean up, blocked up the shoulder. We already have a lane closed, so the lane plus the shoulder, they had trucks out. It was a bit of a mess, but they got it cleared up now. So, always something. Always something. CNN. CNN covered the story too. I remember seeing this initially in a documentary, and I don't think this was it. So let's check this out. It's a documentary I am not familiar with, but it is. How long is it? Works for us. Check this out, and I'll put a link down there for anybody who's wanting to come view and comment. Okay, about 40 minutes, not too bad. Just have to make sure that I can work with the audio here. That's been my main issue. I've had to switch up devices and switch my. Yeah, it's a fucking mess. I need to get better headphones. That's my main thing right now. Everything you hear, the tech issues, is mainly an issue of me not having a portable microphone and not having a good headset. And everything else is just, internet gnomes or an act of God. I don't know, one or the other. Loading, loading, loading. All right. And we have the power. We can rebuild him, make him stronger, faster, able to share a screen on StreamYard. Now, my interest in the topic, other than just the historicity of it, and it'd be interesting to know if we could actually trace Jesus's lineage. That would be something, wouldn't it? Is also the implications of voluntary celibacy and how many spiritual people have come to adopt that practice as a means of self empowerment. Right? Sex can the desire for sex can be seen as a weakness. Right? The desire for partnership can be seen as a human shortcoming, and it makes people do all kinds of irrational things, and really bad decisions in your life. Based in the desire to partner and procreate with the opposite sex. Maybe Jesus was asexual. That is certainly possible. Tog said, and I missed some of the chat, sorry there. Paul says that he has a son. I'm not familiar with that verse. If it was his son or like a son, Timothy. Yeah, I'll have to look into that real quick here. Let's see. Let's dig into this documentary a little bit, see what they have to say, and I will research Timothy there in the meantime. So without further ado, this is on the biography YouTube channel. So hopefully there's no like copyright shit here, but we're gonna stop for plenty of commentary, so they can, they can stick it somewhere. Still shows buffering.
Mary Magdalene. She is one of the most figures in the Bible.
Experiencing problems? Find out why. Actually, no. Alright, I'm gonna try and switch my there's definitely some kind of lag going on. I'm gonna try to switch my Bluetooth back now. We're listening to this and I'm using the other device. There's really no sense in me keeping this thing on. It's just going to slow me down. That should be better. Ooh, Kentucky Atheist has a new 4 members video out. I'm going to go check it out after this. I encourage you to as well. Somebody gifted me a membership at the Kentucky Atheist channel. Thank you to whomever did that. People have been gifting me memberships left and right. I love it. Of course, I had like a solid hour and a half without trucks, and now we're back at it again. Yeah, that's what it is. I got nothing but time to kill. All right, go forth and multiply.
Is the prostitute who walked with Jesus? She is said to have paid for her years of carnal
There's definitely some strange stuff going on here.
delight with decades of isolation and tearful logical discoveries, however,
I'm gonna do this real quick. Sorry. How do I do it? Oh yeah, it's right here. Okay. I don't know. Jesus is just really upset about me doing this stream. Now I see video playing, but I have lost my audio. Yeah, I'll keep trying.
And an astonishing new picture of Mary Magdalene as one of the most important leaders of the early.
Magdalene was in.
Yeah, I think you might be right, Todd. This is some of the worst issues I have had in a while.
His alternative portrait as a prostitute.
I'm almost considering switching to prison.
Precisely to counter this extraordinary and apostolic witness. And prophet.
Now,
Okay, I'm over it. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but I definitely know I can do a video review way better with Prism. So, with that, I'll just put this thing here. No word from Richard. So, if anybody wants to come in and challenge anything I've said so far, cool. We can do that. If not, might leave it there and give it a couple minutes here to. Oh, what an interesting night. Anyway, how's everybody doing out there in the world? So personally, I think, again, if in my opinion, it seems if the historical Jesus existed, it stands to reason that he should have married, whatever age the Jews like to marry. I don't know, and been fruitful and multiplied. But since the text doesn't mention that, we've kind of got to once again assume that it's omitted, or we've got to maybe assume that Jesus might have committed some fornication, in which case he would not have been entirely without sin. I don't know. I don't know. Dog in the back.
There it goes.
Welcome in.
Hey, big nut. So there's something I kind of, I don't know if it goes into the incel bit, right? But Christ did say that he came to do the work of his Father, right? Which is, I guess, preaching the gospel. So perhaps, like, I want to say that maybe he was, but wasn't an incel in the way we think he was, because it's ultimately, if his work is to bring back the children of God back to God, then by professing his message, he has brought on more believers who believe in him, and thus has multiplied the Spirit of God within people. And because he is part of the Spirit of God, he is thus having children as well. So he is reproducing just spiritually in a different way, not than physical, I would say.
I mean, so I would say, but isn't that contrary to the command that God gave to the Israelites? Right? Was he said, "Be fruitful, multiply"?
Right, but the Israelites were God's chosen people, his, like, kind of the redeemers to his spiritual children that he's replacing, right? Who rebelled against him, and now they're like cast out to be known as the fallen, right? Uh, so, well, not really the fallen, I guess. That's a conflation there, and I don't mean it. Gets long if you want to explain to it. But yeah, it goes into that replacement of lost children.
So you'd say they were children in spirit.
Yeah,
And I mean, I also wonder, I mean, because Jesus, I mean, by every account, even though he was God in the flesh, was still of the flesh, right? So he's still human, and therefore would have had human desires. So you think Jesus would have had the desire to have relations, maybe even if he never did?
I would think so, right? Like I said, the weird thing about the lady washing his feet, like maybe they had something going on, because who the heck just washes someone's feet, right? That seems pretty intimate, right? And she's crying, and she seems to know that he's gonna die. And the rest of the apostles are like, why is she doing this, wasting this oil? But she gets it, and Jesus like, no, no, she understands. Like, maybe this is, how well do you know her, Jesus? Right? How well do you know this lady that's washing your feet? Like, who does that to a complete stranger? I think that adds to maybe an argument of embarrassment, really, because like some stranger's gonna walk up on you and wash your feet. You let someone touch your feet. I don't know. It seems weird to me. I guess
Somebody had
that's
mentioned
a
that in the
customary
email.
status too.
Somebody had mentioned in the email thread too. I think that Jesus, when he washed the apostles' feet, right, at one point.
Right. There's like some status in with the culture, and like the dirt road and wearing sandals and dirty feet. It's customary for like the house slave to wash. The I'd say house slave, but I'm just putting that in like weird words. The servant's a better word, I guess. I don't, not that they didn't have house slaves, I'm just saying the lessee would wash the feet of the higher up. So it's like if Jesus was the higher up, why was he washing their feet? they should be washing his feet just as much. But yeah, the same way, like, why is a random stranger coming to wash the feet of Jesus, right? Just out of nowhere. She's like, I'm just gonna wash your feet. So maybe she had weird foot fetish, right? So she desired his feet. So would that count as incel? She's like, damn, them Jesus toes are just perfection. See, my brain goes
I
into
wonder
these
if it would
wandering
qualify as an
places.
act of intimacy.
Yeah, right. That's actually, I wonder too. Because you're gonna let someone touch your feet. It's a weird one, man. I don't know. That seems like something like between man and wife. But again, different culture, so different rules. So that's from my perspective. Then that's a little bit of culture washing, I guess. So it's hard to say because I'm not a part of the washing feet culture.
Do you think that Jesus had free will?
Yeah,
So he could have chosen to disobey God.
yeah,
But I mean, according to the Bible, he does not, right?
yeah. I mean, technically, there's no reason for him not to. I mean, he's already the son of God. What does he have to lose, right? It seems kind of pointless.
Yeah, well,
Like, I mean, if you think of everything was already made for him, right? For everything for the moment of his death, so that he could prove that he's actually God or the son of God, at least, however you want to describe that. And yeah, it gets one into those weird conundrums. Like, why would he not want to do it if it proves him to be who he is? If you're like a Jew, you're like, well, he was a prophet, or a Muslim, I mean, but he wasn't the son of God. And the Jew's like, nah, he's just a dude who died. Just a really, troublemaker. And then you
yeah,
have
he
like
did
the
have
other
an unfair
cults
good.
doing weird shit. The other cults, which is weird. This also goes into like Christ being a real person. Like the other cult members, and I mean other cult members, I mean like the Gnostic cults, they all took Jesus as being another God, not the same God as the Old Testament. So now you at least know that there's at least two gods that are real, the God of the Old Testament and whoever Jesus Christ comes from. So we know that's the weird thing about Gnostics is that they confirm the Old Testament as like a source of being authentic and real because they say Jesus Christ is a different God. And they believe, and obviously Jesus Christ was on this earth. So God of the Bible must be, weird. It's just logical conclusion because they believe it. Not once should they ever say that the God of the Old Testament did not exist. They always said he existed. He just was an evil God or something akin to that. And that's something to I think, take to the bank.
Do you subscribe to the idea that God? I mean, do you think God changed his mind at some point?
Do I think God can change his mind? Well, yeah. If God couldn't change his mind, then none of us could have free will. Because we're made in his image. And I think that image goes into our thought processes as well.
Well, I mean, but then I mean, made in his image. That it kind of implies, in a way, if you're taking it to that with that logic, that man can do anything that God can do.
To a certain degree, I guess so, right? We do have like limitations of what we limit ourselves with. We're really only blind to what we, can do. Like, I guess, like, for the sake of argument, disabled people are limited within their limitations, but they can still create and think of things. And if they're lucky, they can get people to implement those things. I mean, God has his sons do all his, and the angels do all his running about. And then when he wants to show them something, he has to go to those locations and show them where it's at because they have no idea. They're not in his full knowledge. So he's like, hey, come check this out, guys. Look what I see over here. And so they go to the location in which they're at because, again, they're not omniscient like God. But God can see all things. It's one of those weird things that even the Bible kind of says itself, like at the Tower of Babel, it says that. when he's talking to like the sons of God. But it doesn't
I find there to be
say that
a
they're
contradiction there, though, because in the Genesis story in the garden, there's a point in time where Adam is hiding from God, and God cannot find him.
I don't think it's that he can't find him. I really just think it's part of like a story narrative. Because again, without seeing him, he knows he's naked or that he has things on him. Without already seeing him, he's like, "Did you take off the blah blah blah?" Well, how'd you know if you were naked if you haven't seen him yet?
So it's kind of like talking to a child in a way, right? Like when
Right,
the
yeah.
child's playing invisible, but you pretend you can't see them.
That is often what people say. I mean, obviously
Wes
because
and
he's
Sandy.
scared. If you think about it, right? He's scared of God. You just go, "I see you." I think that'd freak him out even more. Fuck. What did we do? I just
Sandy
love.
said
I
she didn't
just.
get a notification either, so I'm thinking it's the Christian gnomes skewed this
Yeah,
one for. So.
I'm telling you, man. They're in the works now. Things are. Ever since the eclipse, it's been a game changer. Now they're in double time.
Yeah, I thought the world was gonna end, like or rapture was gonna happen
Something.
or something, right?
Yeah, I actually pulled my kids out of school just in case because the world's getting nutty. Like, I don't know if anything's gonna happen. I want to keep my kids on me, not for religious reasons, just because the world gets crazy now. And like I remember 9/11, and that was all because of Jesus's birthday being on 9/11, right? It's the only reason why it was done. And so that's kind of when it comes to those type of like dates like that, I'm gonna want to keep my kids close because God forbid something happens and I'm not there. That's like my worst fear as a parent, being out at work and then not be able to fucking save my kids from some type of fucking tragedy.
Well, I mean, no matter where you or they are, you can't save your kids from the rapture. I mean, it's gonna happen all. It's gonna
Well,
be all
hold up.
encompassing.
Technically, if my kids are being raptured, they're already saved, so I don't have anything to worry about, right? That's like God. Oh, thank God they're not here. Oh, I'm one of the pieces of shits that get left behind. Oh, thank God. That would be the biggest relief. Like, oh, thank you, God. They're worthy. I want to see why. Like, I'm fucking here. My kids still here. What the fuck are you still doing here? Why are you still here? I'd be more concerned. But what the fuck did you fuck up? You're a kid. Why did God reject you? I'd be more upset at him. Like, what the fuck did you do? Or him, her. I'm thinking of my boy.
Must have been the sins of the father, I guess.
Something like that. That's a good one. I'm here. I'm stuck here with you, Dad. Like, well, shit. I'm sorry, bud. That'd be the best. I guess it wouldn't be too bad if your kid's stuck in hell with you, I guess, right? You can always fuck around with each other. Still love in hell.
Have you seen that AI generated version of hell? I saw it on Twitter. I've been meaning to repost it, but have you seen that?
Probably not. I don't do social media. I'm antisocial, except for as far as like Christian stuff and YouTube. I really don't get on social media all that much. I'm pretty exclusive.
It's really interesting. I'll see if I can search it up. Although I've been having bad luck with this type of stuff, but yeah, it's pretty horrifying. And considering they just kind of describe the it's AI generated again, so
Mm-hmm.
obviously this is just a computer's interpretation of what is written in Revelation, I believe, or a description of hell from the Bible, anyway.
Did you know that Buddhists, Hinduists, I don't know, I think it's appropriate, have their own version of hell when it comes to like reincarnation? That you go to this type of hell if you have a lot of bad karma to get even out before you get put into some type of body. Hold up, what's up?
Yeah, well, I think some some people might say interpret it as like this being on Earth is actually kind of hell, right? Because once you become enlightened, you would no longer reincarnate for because the process of reincarnation happens purely
Right, like
to experience the karmic chain, right?
right, yeah, and it goes into like it gets into a wheel. So the only way to get out of the karma cycle is when you actually achieve nirvana, and that's the only way to get out of the cycle is to actually achieve the state of nirvana, which is like a ignorant bliss, but not. It's like becoming one with the energy. So you like I forget how it's exactly. Each there's like different philosophies around it. But yeah, apparently they have their own type of torturous hell, and it's a lot more vigorous than like the Christian one because it technically you could be in karma for eternity or for a very long time that seems like an eternity, and then uh, have a reincarnation. So you could be there for say like 10,000 years of torture and hell before you're like, all right, your time that you did that bad karma is all brought up together. So now you get to live as like a baby human in poverty or some shit like that, and hopefully that will make you good.
Yeah, or you could end
Right.
up living like an abused animal, or
Right, something
anything.
like
You could
that.
become a rock.
Yeah. Yeah, you could go back like as an ant or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Hinduism had. Is it Buddhism or
Buddhism, Hinduism, it's hard if they're
Yep.
like all fucking the same.
Yeah, it's not the same, but there are similarities. There, I think the Hinduist idea of reincarnation is a little bit different, but they both kind of center around that principle of karma and
Yeah, you get what you deserve. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, you get what you deserve. That's a good way of
well,
putting it.
deserve's got nothing to do with it, but it's according to their tenets, it's the thing that you need to experience in order to achieve a new level of enlightenment.
Yeah.
This is what you did to others, you piece of shit. learn. 10,000 years. Or 2 days even. But excruciating pain. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
weird
I've actually
philosophy.
read a lot on Buddhism. In fact, it's kind of like some of it's still in the back of the brain, but I've been focused so much on Abrahamic religions over the past few years. I think I've just kind of lost some of that, but that used to be my kind of primary spiritual reading materials. Was a lot to do with Buddhism and stuff like that.
I freaking get weird because I hear people say like the talk of Christian hell is like child abuse. Like, what about the Buddhist and their version of hell? Like, that's a weird one. How is that not child abuse? Like, if you do bad, you're gonna be tortured for some time and then come back as like an abused animal, right? You're like, damn. You mean you even got to pay more shit after the bullshit torture I go through? I gotta go through some fucking ladder? The fuck is this? Which is why in the caste system you're not allowed to change from the caste system because you're reincarnated in that caste. You cannot move up in this life. You can only move up in the next when you're reincarnated. There is no moving up in this life. It's only after the next in Buddhism. So it's sad. Like, I hate it. If you're a piece of shit, you're always going to be a piece of shit, even if you come to a greater enlightenment. You can never escape that until you die. And if you're lucky, again, if you have that good karma, then by all means, you did it. You learned the lesson and you get to move up. I don't know if you can skip hierarchies, though. I forgot. It's been a while. Like, if you can go straight to nirvana just by, like, experiencing a good life. And then that's it. And then, boom, you have nirvana.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of similar to the idea, that the things that Jesus taught and the way that he lived is similar to the Buddhist ideal, and so they're both about relinquishing earthly possessions to overcome desires of the flesh, if you would call it that, like anything that is like would be considered a carnal desire, right? That's something that you should be able to overcome through your mental, spiritual power. So it's all about non-attachment. And Jesus preached the same thing.
Actually, I think some of those things get conflated in between individual message that Jesus said to one person, and then everyone just likes to piggyback on, oh, well, you should do this because Jesus said it to this one guy. And that's the most important thing, is that because he said to this one guy, he's saying it to us all. And I think that's like a big, just because you eavesdrop on someone's conversation doesn't mean you should take the same advice, even if it seems good, right? That's the way I see it sometimes. Some of those things that Jesus said were only meant for the people that he was talking about. But we can, like a lot of people like to, like the woman at the well, go forth and sin no more. He's not talking to us. He's talking to her.
Well, I think the idea of it being canonical is that there would be others that would relate to and learn from that lesson, though.
Yeah, but if he told it to one person, wouldn't it be good advice for everyone? Otherwise,
Are you okay? How are you gonna stop from adultering when you're not married?
oh yeah.
See what I'm saying? How are you gonna give up all your possessions if you're already poor?
Yeah.
It's just silliness. That's what I'm saying. And then people live with this ideology, and it's not meant for them. Is all I'm saying. It's like, sure, you can take away it for being for you, but if it doesn't fit you, it doesn't fit you, and then you're just trying to fulfill some type of role that isn't meant for you. You're probably going to cause more sin.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to be something you shouldn't be. I mean, theoretically, if you're not married, you're already not sinning, right? It's impossible for you to go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just welcoming Wild Heart officially. I know you were here earlier, so sorry about I was trying to fix this audio thing to no avail, but
yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah. Can we go back up? I just saw the clitoris. I was very interested in that. Like the first one.
oh yeah, this one that wasn't what I'm trying to find that AI. Maybe I'll just search it. I'm sure I'd find it somewhere here, but yeah, this pretty funny right here.
The clitoris has close to 8,000 nerve endings, and it's still not as sensitive as a religious person on it.
Yes.
That's very funny.
Man, I don't know what's worse. Could you imagine having your vagina compared to a fucking religion? That's sad, man. That's fucking sad. That's insulting to the women's vaginas. To be compared, that's lowering the status of women. That's so terrible.
I don't know about that. We insulting to women.
No, I think it's insulting to religious people. I don't think it's insulting to women.
Calling them overly sensitive.
Oh yeah, no.
No. We're saying that
that's
the
comparison
is highly sensitive. That's just a part of the woman. That's not the whole woman.
That's why I said their vagina. I mean, women are the only ones with vaginas, or am I in link? Well, this is the 21st century. Maybe I should just shut up.
Well,
cops are going to come right in and be like, well, now see here, mister.
Extremely oversized clip. I mean, that's the same structure.
That's just what people like to tell themselves.
Have you ever seen a big clit in real life? Like a real big clit?
I have.
Yeah.
What does it look like?
A really big clit.
Or a really small penis. No. I guess it's open to some interpretation there.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you look at a clit and think penis, maybe you might be gay. Yeah. I keep seeing them everywhere I go. Why is this? I can't escape penis. It's everywhere.
Yeah, no, they are everywhere. You know,
That's true.
we're a
I'm kind of
male-dominated
scared.
culture. So we've all got to, you know, we've all got to brag about our endowments. It's part of the culture.
That's a which culture though? Because there's many culture. I always
Patriarchal
hate that.
culture, I guess.
But I don't know. Maybe I guess so. Patriarchal. I've always lived in a monarchical because I always had my mom and my grandma, so there was never like really any male figure around because my grandpa died when uh, my mom was just a kid. He got shot over some bullshit. So I never met that, and my never really met my dad. He pieced out because my mom was crazy. I don't blame him. So I don't actually know about like patriarchal rule. And then you go into the schools, right? And it's all fucking female teacher. I don't think I ever had a male teacher. Maybe like a substitute male teacher, right? I think the world's female dominated. I think we just like to tell ourselves that we rule everything. We pretend we're in the Ken house, right? If you've seen the Barbie movie. But it's actually the Barbie house. It's not the Ken house. We want it to be the Ken house.
Oh, this looks bad.
Bonhoeffer's daughter. Mock away. Your consumption will consume you as you itch your itch inch by inch. That's very poetic. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate that.
But this looks bad. Is this what the Lake of Fire would look like? That looks bad.
Yeah, this is one. I guess they've done several, so this is the one I just found. Oh. Of course, it's gone squirrely on me. Yeah, this is just one of them that I found here, so there's several.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
That's not Revelations.
That did shake
That's
kingdoms,
Isaiah.
that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners, all the kings of the nations, even all of them.
Yeah, this is not the same one that I found on Twitter. I just
Oh.
Googled this one up. So yeah, this is a slightly different variation.
My
I
bad.
guess.
I missed that information. Anyway, though, I'll have to get going. I'm gonna get going in my car, so I'll be listening in from the street.
All right, thanks for coming in, bro.
No problem. You guys take care. I'll be listening. 420.
Smoke weed every day.
I haven't smoked weed in 5 days. It's been 5 days for me. So yeah, I don't know. I've started dreaming again last night. So, or technically it was like yesterday morning that I was sleeping, not last night. But whatever.
But this kind of hell doesn't look that bad. I mean, they're just swimming like that. That looks quite like peaceful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the three, like three of them look like happy. There's a smile on their face.
Yeah, I could put up with that. Yeah, that's fine.
Lie in glory, everyone in his own house, but thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword that go down to the stones of the pit.
Yeah. Well, that's all fancy. No, the other one showed people like melting together, and it showed like the gnashing of teeth and the wailing, and it was a lot
Oh,
more intense than that.
yeah, yeah. That was quite. Yeah, that was quite good. Like, if that what hell is like, then yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'll be good.
Yeah, I was picture like what is it, Bill and Ted? They go down there, and they're yeah. What's up,
Oh
Steve?
yeah.
Or Little Nicky? That was a good one too. Shoving a pineapple up Hitler's backside.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the I think the end scene was Kiss. God gave rock and roll to you. Great song. You know,
Oh yeah, from Bill and Ted. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So to get back to the topic, was Jesus an incel? What does incel mean? Involuntarily.
Involuntary celibacy. So my question, essentially was, um, well, it's kind of a two-part question there. I mean, if we believe that Jesus never had relations with a woman, did he choose not to do so, or was it because basically God commanded it or prohibited him from it?
Yeah, no, he will be an incel. Yeah, because Jesus wouldn't be able to do anything that God didn't allow him to do. Yeah, so Jesus will be an incel. Yeah.
Sandy, okay. I'll answer that question here. No, she said, never mind. But, no, you're good, brother. I am doing very well. I started my program again yesterday afternoon. I've got a game plan working with my doctor. I've got 5 days off of marijuana, and so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You have a good day too, Sandy. Sorry, but yeah, no, I'm doing very well actually. Um, so yeah, this one was going to be a conversation with Richard, and I was going to invite a couple other people on panel, but I guess Richard wasn't able to make it. So again, he wants to respond to this. It's totally cool. But yeah, we set it up kind of last minute yesterday, so I was I've been thinking a lot about this whole thing with my issue with being like limerent and all that stuff, and whether or not abstinence is a good choice. Or well, obviously abstinence is the best choice for me right now. Um, just working on me, but like seeing it as a thing of strength or whatever. And in spiritual practice, sometimes that's what's said, that just kind of combating those desires. And I wonder if that's what is being displayed in the Jesus story. So it's not necessarily that Jesus wasn't married, didn't have a wife or children, but that the idea underneath a spiritual foundation is to be solid in yourself as an individual, your relationship with your higher power or what have you, and that everything else is kind of secondary. And that's explicitly stated in the Bible, right? They say that you don't put anything, not your wives, not your children, above the God, right? And that's why you would, like Abraham would sacrifice his son to God if God so commanded. So I think that's kind of just the idea there, right? But yeah, I don't know if you saw earlier. There's been multiple documentaries, and there's some historical texts that suggest that there is evidence that literary evidence that Jesus did in fact have a wife and offspring. And then there's other speculation into what happened to them. So are you familiar with the Mary Magdalene story?
Oh yeah, Mary Magdalene was that the prostitute? Was that the prostitute?
Yeah, she was a prostitute who Jesus spent time with and converted, and she ended up traveling with him and was there for the crucifixion, according to the lore.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, so that would kind of refute the holiness of Jesus if he slept with a prostitute. Is that what you're getting at? Because yeah, I think it would.
well, no, she wasn't a prostitute anymore.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
you know, if according to this version of the story, he like got her out of the business, you know, made an honest woman out of her, right? That would be the interpretation.
Okay. Yeah.
But he would have had to marry her in order to be free of sin, right? Like, because he would have been committing fornication otherwise.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So he had to marry her. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know if she looked anything like Julia Roberts, but yeah. I think, you know, this is an idea that would probably really bother some Christians, right? Like to think that Jesus did lay with a woman, and you know, and all of this stuff. And I
Yeah.
wonder why it would be omitted from the Bible that we read today, because there are, you know, texts again that are non-canonical but do exist. The time period is right. Like there's no reason, you know, there's just things that the church says, oh, we don't want to put that in the Bible. But if you look at it, it's coherent in the story. Um, they choose to omit those like, you know, there's other books like that as well. So this one was they discovered like 15 years ago or something like that. Was
Yeah.
sexually cut out of the Bible of the Council where they chopped all the stuff out. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. It's because Christians tend to equate sex with sin. So if Jesus had sex ever, then he wouldn't be like perfectly holy. I think that's where the problem arises. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
So
you have another issue, which would be like if you could verify that in any way, you'd be able to trace the descendants of Jesus. Jesus would have modern descendants. We would be able to genetically identify somehow.
yeah, 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 yeah. I think that's why they have a problem with it. Yeah.
And then would those descendants also be like great 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 etc grandchildren of the deity, right? Like they'd be holier
Yeah,
than the rest of us for sure if they had some part Jesus DNA in them.
yeah, yeah. That will be a problem also. Yeah. But I do have to go. I've got an appointment in about an hour, and I have to go and have a shower and get changed and stuff.
Beautiful.
So,
Yeah, I thank you for coming, Wildheart. I appreciate it. You know, it's good bouncing ideas with friends. Much love, buddy. Good luck with your appointment.
yeah, thanks a lot. I'll see you in a bit. Bye.
Well, I will leave this up to again Richard Madsen, Demolished Doctrine. A great guy. Wasn't able to make it for this one, and his channel link is down in the description. If you haven't heard, I'd suggest you go check it out. Richard, if you want to respond to this or have a future conversation, of course I'm available. I'm here for it. But this is where my brain was at tonight. I'm thinking I will probably kill this stream and maybe just go do a review on that biography on Mary Magdalene that we found with Prism. So I won't have so many tech issues. And yeah, if anybody's interested, check that out. I've got a couple more hours to kill here. So thank you all for coming, Sandy, Wooly, Jill, Bonhoeffer's daughter. Is it Bonhoeffer or Bon? I don't know. German or something. Tog, Tog and Wildheart, of course. Thanks for joining. And anybody else watching this in the past, present, or future tense, yeah, feel free to drop something in the comments and let me know your thoughts on the topic. All right, much love, everybody. Be well. Stay trusty. See you later.